We're live.
We're live.
We're live on YouTube. How's the picture looking? There's a lot of light shining through these windows, even though it's quite a dull day. How's that working? I'm sure somebody who knows all about technical stuff could tell us why that is, but hello everybody anyway. You didn't say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, it's looking a bit weird, that picture. Do you not think?
Why?
Well, there's a lot of light. It's like a bluey light shining through.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, but
Hey ho.
take it as it is. There's probably some setting. We've already got a few comments coming in. We've got S. Brown, greetings from north of the border, West Yorkshire. Ooh, the wrong side of Yorkshire. Looking forward to the live chat. Look at the series. Good luck. Thank you. Gizmo in Asia. Hello from a rainy day in Thailand. Rainy day in Thailand. Is a rainy day in Thailand better than a rainy day in Rotherham?
Yeah.
Rotherham.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Hello from Denmark. Hope to see a video on nuts and bolts soon. Yeah, funnily enough, that is one of the things that we are going to discuss is nuts and bolts. So,
Yeah.
Stefan, hang in there, and there will be some information for you. And hello, Gizmo. Hello, Nate. Afternoon, all. Greetings from Plymouth as well, from Skara. Basically, today, other than obviously answering any questions that come in, we just wanted to do a little update, didn't we? I know we did kind of a little tour around the place a few weeks ago, but this last week or two, we've just kind of been cracking on as such, haven't we?
Yeah.
Narrowboat that James built. Picture is clear here, looking good. Hope you guys are well. Yes, we are, James. Hope you're going well, and hope your boats are going all right as well.
Yeah.
Hope, in fact, why aren't you working on it? Why are you watching us? Shouldn't you be doing something on your boat?
He's having a brew.
Or he could come and help do something on our boat if he's got nothing to do. But yeah, we just thought we'd do a little catch up, really, didn't we, as to where we are. And I mean, this last week or two, like I said, we've been doing a lot of things like kind of, obviously the other week we did all the boarding and curtains this side, didn't we, that we put on the vlog.
Yeah.
We've been doing all the same on that side. And like we say, we don't like to just keep repeating bits, do we? By the time we've done setting the camera up to repeat things, and then people have already seen it and what have you.
It's boring.
So we try to kind of vary it a bit as to what we're showing. So we've been doing that, haven't we? Stefan, and the teapot just went empty. Get a brew on. We've got a brew. Look. We've got a brew. I got told off last time we did a live, though, because I kept waving my hand about with me brew in my hand.
Yeah, you were spilling
spilling it all over. So I deliberately thought this time I'll put it down out the way. But you never know. Yeah, so if anybody's got any questions about kind of how we're getting on or anything to do with the boats or like such as nuts and bolts, be dropping them in there because we'll sort of answer any questions best that we can. What else did we want to say? Things that are coming up that we're going to be doing, really, isn't there? Not like me to be speechless, is it? Not like me to not know what I'm talking about. Question coming, are we keeping the boat the same colour? Not sure if you mean outside or inside there, Gizmo, but outside it's pretty much going to stay the same colours, even though we are going to repaint it next year. Inside at the minute, this is all just undercoat. You probably can't really tell that well on the screen there, but it's basically just a white undercoat. What's not going to be natural woods, I think we're going to do fairly plain colours,
sandy colours.
Yeah, sandies, beiges, things like that. So it'll all kind of then tie in with the wood colours and things like that. The only thing that we have done slightly different, obviously, if you watch the videos about the bathroom, we've put a little bit of blue in there, haven't we, just to...
Which is beachy, innit?
Yeah.
You've got your sand and your sky together.
So, Philip Rackham, is the roof all sealed now? Yes. Fingers crossed. Touch wood.
Yeah, no leaks.
Yeah, no, since we did all those repairs a couple of months ago, we've not had any leaks.
It's been brilliant, and we have had some rain.
I mean, within a few days of us doing it, we had a couple of days where it absolutely belted down, didn't we? And we were kind of like, but yeah, and obviously we have moved the boat around a few bits now, so it's had a chance to have a few bangs and knocks and things. So
movement. Yeah.
So touch wood, it's all good. Touch wood.
Touch wood.
Who is going to paint the boat name outside? Ta-da! That'll be Dawn, the artist. Yeah, to be honest, we were on about you might do a little bit of painting on the outside in the next few weeks, but then really you're going to leave it until we actually paint it properly next year, aren't you? Yeah. We might do just a few bits that are like temporary and what have you. We did think about painting Richard and Hyacinth on it. Richard! They're keeping up appearances. But yeah, I think mainly I end up getting lumbered with doing a lot of the big painting, but Dawn's definitely the artist, the one with the creative touch. So you'll be doing that, won't you? Ivan, really enjoyed all your videos. Thank you. When are you going to do the ceiling? The ceiling, hopefully, one of the things we're going to discuss is from the middle of this coming week, I've then got 3 weeks off work, haven't I? So we're hoping in that time I can really crack on.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a few bits we want to do in that time. Sort of rebuild that back section of the boat that we've talked about rebuilding. Get the fireplace out and refitted, because obviously that was only ever a temporary job. And then the big bit is the ceiling, because obviously that's now going to make a massive difference looking inside. Because obviously, more or less, there's still trim and things to put on these walls, but more or less the walls are now done, aren't they?
Yeah.
So then the ceiling is kind of the final big bit in the jigsaw. So hopefully that'll be in the next few weeks, ceiling in here and in the bedroom, the bathroom. Tiny living. Hi both. What's going on with the ceiling, tongue and groove panels? I think the ceiling is going to be plywood, isn't it? Yeah. Similar sort of thing to what we've done on this. And then obviously where there's the joins, because we'll not get full sheets of plywood. I'm trying to do it so you can see what I'm...
Don't slap me in the face doing it.
You nearly poked my eye out with the scissors the other week while we were doing something. Yeah, I think it's going to be plywood, but we'll obviously kind of have to cut them into sections, partly so that we can actually physically bring them into the boat and to fit them. And if they're in smaller sections, it does mean in the future, if there's ever any issues, such as we need to change wiring lights or anything,
they can come down.
Yeah, if they're smaller sections, we can easily get those down rather than sort of great big 8x4 sheets. So I think it's going to be plywood, but sort of cut, hopefully quite decorative, if you like.
Yeah.
So, you know, where the joins are will look nice. A bit like, would it be, I'm trying to think, like a Tudor building, you know, where you've got like the wall and then you've got...
Yeah, picture frame paneling.
That's the one. Yeah. We make it sound so simple, don't we?
I know.
Picture frame paneling. Andy says hi. Hi, Andy. Penny Noss. Hi, Dawn and Pete. Are you living on the boat full time? More or less, between kind of this boat and Nuts and Bolts, we pretty much are. I mean, we do still have the house, and we keep saying we need to sort something out with the house, don't we? And
doing that tomorrow.
Yeah, you're starting to empty it tomorrow. But yeah, we are pretty much kind of living on this full time, because what really happens now is, especially when out of our various children we have between us, only really the youngest one comes down and stays with us on a regular basis. So he more or less uses Nuts and Bolts as his bedroom. So we kind of migrated onto this when he came down to use that first time and never really went back, did we? It does cause probably a little bit more issue, because when we are doing work, obviously we have to tidy up at the end of the day, don't we? But we are past the majority of the worst of the work. So yeah, we're not properly living on it full time, and we probably won't be for quite some time, but we do tend to linger here, don't we?
Yeah.
Glenn Owen, are you going to live aboard when it's all finished? Yeah, pretty much that's the idea. Get rid of the house, you know, live aboard.
Yeah.
Which, again, anybody who didn't really watch right from the beginning, when we first bought the other boat, Nuts and Bolts, we genuinely did think we were buying it as like a little weekend getaway, didn't we? And
we just love it, don't we?
Within weeks of buying it, we were kind of finding, because it was close enough to commute to work, we were like, well, we don't really need to go home. We'll just stay
we have really took to it, haven't we?
Hence why we then bought this boat, the bigger boat, that we can properly, genuinely live on full time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Are you going to live aboard full time when it's all finished yet? Like we said, pretty much are. Oh, and Jill says you look beautiful, Dawn.
Oh, really?
Oh, you always look beautiful.
A year's worth of hard work. It's definitely took its toll. And living with Peter has definitely took its toll.
See, she don't scrub up bad, really. It's just normally when people see you, you're in
I
your
know,
work
I'm in my
clothes and
scruff.
things, don't you? Your mucky jeans and what have you. And Laura says she loves your top dome.
Oh, thank you. It's from New Look, by the way.
Other cloud shops are available. That's not a promotion. Although maybe we could have the link in there, you know, see if New Look will give you a commission.
Probably not.
No. Stefan says as well, have you moved the boat to the same moorings? Yeah, both boats are now sort of down here with this one. The other boat's actually 3 or 4 boats that way, isn't it? They're not actually right next to each other. But yeah, they're on the same spot of moorings, which kind of creates its own issues, because when we realise we've left something on the other boat when we're working on this one, we now walk back for it. So you spend all day walking backwards and forwards. When they were on different moorings in different areas, if you kind of got here and realised you'd forgot something, you just thought, oh, well, I'll do something else. And, but now it's kind of like walk backwards.
There's no excuse to not do it, is there?
It's like people on the boats in between our 2 boats must get sick of the sight of our legs walking past, because that's kind of all you see. As people walk past, you just kind of see a pair of legs go past. And so Dawn and Pete are working on the boat again. So, both boats are now on the same moorings, which, in all fairness, does actually make life easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Prosser's Independent Trading Company. Hi, made it. Hi. Steve, hi to both. Hi to you as well. Oh, and Penny says that you've got a glow about you today. Is that because you've just been preparing food and you've been stood in the kitchen?
Yeah.
I am mean, aren't I? I'm surprised you don't clip me. You probably will as soon as we come off air, won't you? Yeah. Oh, you've got a lovely glow about you.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Steve, what do you both do for a living? Would this fit into becoming liverboards? I drive a van delivering car parts, and
I sell internet.
Which we don't mention that, because last time we mentioned that on a live, we lost internet connection literally about 2 minutes later, didn't we? We were just saying about how good your job was, that you sell internet and what have you, and then it was like, oh, we've lost internet connection.
Yes.
So yeah, I drive a van. Dawn works in a call centre, but she's not one of them that annoys you by phoning you.
Oh, no. You phone me.
You found her. But yeah, it would be all right for liverboard. Obviously, liverboard on a mooring, kind of, it'd be all right. If we wanted to go constant cruising, it might be a bit more of an issue, because we are obviously both based at set locations, and obviously there's only so far we could travel to and from work each day. But potentially, we have said next year we might try and get out for a couple of months or whatever, haven't we? And at least be able to stay where we can kind of get back to work each day and what have you. So, but that's obviously plans for another day potentially. Good day from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Oh, Canada. I want to go Canada.
I know you do.
How long do you think it'd take to get to Canada on this boat?
10 minutes.
See, we are. We're going to say we are, and we both are massive Sheffield Steelers ice hockey fans, aren't we? I mean, I've been going for 30 years to the Steelers. I love my ice hockey, and obviously ice hockey's Canada, innit? That's just Canada all over. So yeah, Canada's about the only place in the world I've not been that I'd like to go to. So if you've got a spare room, Stephen. Or maybe
for one.
Maybe we could do it like a little swap. Maybe they could come and have a week on the boat, and we're going to have a week in their house in Canada.
That'd be very good.
There you go. Boat swap. Something like that.
Yeah.
Prosser's Independent Trading Company. Question: what are the plans for nuts and bolts once you finish this? I suppose as basic plans for nuts and bolts are, in the not too distant future, we've really got to sell that boat, haven't we? So we are looking potentially at, we've got somebody who might now be able to actually get it working for us again. So we're potentially looking at, first off, getting it working so we can prove we did actually do it. Although we did get it working.
I'm going to say it worked.
It worked.
I just blew it up.
Yeah, it's always you when things break down. We were out on this the other day and it broke down. But yeah, so potentially we'd like to get it working again so we can at least see it. But then partly what we're thinking is, we're not sure if anybody will buy it as an electric boat, because obviously we've not really had a chance, or even at that stage, we won't really have had a chance to properly test and check it all and be able to say,
no,
this is a perfect working boat. So we're not sure anybody would want to buy it in them circumstances. So possibly thinking then take that electric drive off there, put a diesel engine back in that, and then we'd rename it Nuts and Diesel. See what I did there?
Yeah. Yeah,
and then
good.
Look at fitting the electric drive system we've took off that onto this boat, but as a hybrid system. So we would still keep the diesel engine, but then we'd have the electric motor, so that basically the diesel engine would charge the batteries when needed and give us the power when needed. But if we're just pootling down the canal and there's charging the batteries, we can then just flip that on and have a bit of silent cruising. That's potentially what we're thinking. It is one of the things we've really got to probably over the coming weeks and months have a proper look at into.
Yeah. But we're definitely going to have to sell it.
Yeah, we can't justify. I mean, we've talked about, obviously, because like such as having the young and stay with us, we might, I say young and don't think we're leaving like a 4-year-old or something on a boat on his own. He's like 16, but you know. But potentially because of that, we've talked about possibly getting rid of that and just getting a little cruiser, haven't we?
Yeah.
That would in effect be like a little boat that sort of he can use and any guest visitors and things. So it's a bit up in the air, but ultimately Nuts and Bolts has got to go at some stage, probably within the next 6
moment
months.
though.
It will, because obviously we're our first boat. It's what got us doing the YouTube videos. So it's, you know.
Yeah, I'll be sad to see it go, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But ultimately, we can't justify having 2 boats, can we? So yeah, so anybody who does want to buy a half-converted electric boat,
come see us.
Come see us. But no, hopefully the other thing is, just going back to that, somebody who's building their own boat, where we've got to know through doing these YouTube videos, happens to work in that kind of field, and he has said he thinks he can get it going for us again. But I think I might actually make a video about Nuts and Bolts in the next week or two and do that as it
should involve her, to be fair.
Yeah, we've left her a bit out. So might do a little video just doing a catch up as to what's happening on that. So keep an eye out on YouTube for that. So Glyn Owen, do you have any plans for a long trip on the boat? Any canals you really want to visit? I want to visit the Chesterfield Canal.
Yeah,
and probably everyone on this mooring and anybody I speak to about boats is fed up of me saying, I want to visit the Chesterfield Canal. Because our house is near there and I've walked various sections of it. And James, who wrote the song that we sometimes use, I've dropped him off on various points as he's done stupid cycle rides up and down there.
Yeah.
Kept himself going for 2 days eating blackberries and stuff like that. But that's
another story
entirely. But yeah, so I'd really like to do the Chesterfield Canal. All you know about the canal system is basically what's in front of the boat, don't you?
I have to do locks.
Yeah.
That's about it.
No, but we'd like to do the Chesterfield, and like I said, maybe for next year and future years, it'd be good if we can get out for at least a couple of months. You know, because where we are, we're in quite a good location because we both work more or less sort of in the middle of Sheffield. And obviously we can go quite a way up this canal and still be within commute to there.
Yeah.
We can also even go as far around as places like Leeds and things, because they're still within a half, 3/4 of an hour commute. And then all the way down the Chesterfield Canal again. So we can do quite a bit where we could still actually get to and from work. So they'd be nice things. I mean, I suppose the ultimate thing would be to do things like doing the wash, where we go out onto the sea. You're not so keen on that, are you? And things like the River Link and stuff.
I think.
I don't think we'd ever be that bothered about going down south. No, nothing particularly against southerners or anything, but it's obviously a long way for us to go, and prices are really expensive down there. Can you imagine me trying to buy a pint in a pub in London? I'd never buy one, would I? I'd just be like, I'm not paying that. You're having a laugh. I'm not paying that. So yeah, I think that the one that I definitely want to do next year is the Chesterfield Canal, which means going out of here, up, out, down the Trent, onto the Chesterfield, which incidentally, the Chesterfield Canal is renowned by people who've travelled a lot of the network as one of the nicest canals on the network.
Yeah.
So
There's nobody that don't say it's not beautiful.
no. And like I say, I've walked various sections of it and always found it really nice. So.
Got to have a slurp of your tea.
Go on, you said something interesting.
Like what?
Jill says, how much are the moorings?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you exactly without getting it. We always reckon, and it is only a rough guide, to have the boat on the water, so the license and the mooring is about £200 a month.
Yeah, I think
it's about £200 a month to license the boat and to moor the boat, which in effect is, other than odd bits like your insurance.
Give and take.
It's I think we did cover it on one of the costings videos quite early on, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which incidentally, I must say, I think we've lost track a little bit of the actual finer points of the costings.
We don't want to know how much the finer points of the costings
we've not gone wildly off track, and we will probably do a bit of an update where we can do it costs so much, but I think we must sort of say it's probably not going to be it costs this much to the penny, is it? But
no.
But yeah, so roughly to have the boat on the water and moored up is about £200 a month, something like that.
Oh. Next question, look.
What's that?
Hybrid would be awesome, but hard to do.
Oh, yeah, that's not the next question, though. You're getting carried away.
Oh, right.
She's getting carried away. How did you learn the trades needed to refit the boat? You seem to have mastered them. That's the next question. That's from Steve.
That'll be you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, none of the trades as such that we had to perform.
Both of us are willing to get it.
Yeah, none of them. I mean, neither of us have had any formal training in joinery, woodwork, carpentry. And I mean, I must say as well, it does show. I mean, we do have, not in a bad way, but we do have various joiners and carpenters and things who comment on the video saying, yeah, you did it, but you could have done it better this way. And we're not qualified joiners or carpenters.
No.
Generally, the result that we get at the end of it all is, what we want. But there are probably other and better ways of doing it and different ways. But largely, it's all just self-taught or equally a stubbornness to pay.
Yeah. And we're both happy to pick a power tool up and use it, aren't we?
And we're equally also happy to make a mistake that we're going to have to rectify at a later date.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do something and we think, that didn't actually work very well, we're quite happy to go back and redo it, aren't we? Or look at another way of doing it. So
you learn by making mistakes yourself, don't you?
And in this day and age as well, YouTube is a fantastic tool.
Oh, it is.
Because, I mean, like, such as doing these fiberglass repairs that we've already mentioned, that was something we had no idea about, did we? Not a clue. So not only did we have a few people, a chap called Chris Brown, he actually got a little model boat and cut it open for us, didn't he? And sent us a video of re-fiberglassing it and things. There were a few others who also gave us a lot of ideas and tips. But YouTube was a massive help, weren't it? I mean, we watched that many videos, literally hours and hours and hours and hours of videos of like fiberglassing and what have you. So YouTube is the great help there that, as long as you're willing to have a go, I think it can show you more or less anything, can't it? More or less, anyway. So as I say, we've not really learnt the trades. I mean, over the years I've done. I mean, I used to do landscaping and things, so it's kind of working with wood, but fitting decking's a bit different to paneling out about. But I love the nuts and bolts electric power boat. Love to see more of it. Like we said, I think I will do. Maybe try and film it this coming week as I break up for my holidays. I'll do a little video about that and see where it's going with that.
Can I get a wash first?
Yeah. Yeah. And DIY hybrid will be awesome, but hard to do. Yeah, I think as idea, or my idea with the hybrid system will be 90% of the time, if you like, we will probably still use the diesel engine. We would just have the electric motor. Again, I'll perhaps go into it in more detail and see if I can get feedback like we did with the fiberglass, but I'm thinking perhaps mounting the electric motor kind of above the prop shaft inside the engine bay with some kind of just belt drive that, like I said, once we're cruising along, we can just turn the diesel engine off, flick that on, and it'll just poodle us along. It does obviously need a fair bit more thinking about than that, but that's kind of the idea that I'm thinking. Is it would be we probably wouldn't even use it to go through locks and things or slowing down, so we wouldn't have forwards and reverse and what have you. Just a very basic, we're going along, flick the electric motor on, that'll keep us going when we're either running out of power or getting to a lock. Turn that off, back to the diesel engine. That's definitely a project
way down the
line.
Yeah.
So when are you two doing an expenditure update? I don't know if you caught us there. We're just saying we will do one. We'll try and do one probably again in the next few weeks. But like I say, unfortunately, we have probably lost tracks. Like I said, I'm not saying we don't know what we've spent or anything, but I think we've perhaps lost track to the final pennies and what have you, haven't we? We know kind of what we've bought and things. So we'll do an update on it as to where we are. I'm trying to think what we've bought since the last one. I think the main thing since the last one are things like we went and bought the cooker and stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of expenditure with that. And things like this timber, again, we've mentioned it on some recent videos. The price of timber at the minute's just gone
it's
absolutely,
skyrocketed, hasn't it?
like through the roof. These 8x4 sheets are 5.5mm ply. The ones we bought originally to do the bottom half, I think we paid £8 a sheet. These ones, we paid £23.50 a sheet. And at that, we struggled to get them. Again, you probably saw on some of the videos, we were struggling to get the timber. So yeah, we'll do an update on it. Dawn, what's for dinner?
Oh, stew.
Stew. What sort of stew?
Beef stew.
Beef stew. Nice. DIY hybrid is easy if you start with a full plan. Take the time to plan. It says, we don't plan. Plan. Winging it.
Yeah.
No, I think that is one thing, because it will be like a separate project, and it's something we would actually do, like I say, right at the end, once we've got all the inside, all the outside done, things like that. We will then potentially, well, we would have time to plan it. It's not just going to be, all right, let's dive in and do it. So what's the time scale for doing the inside roof, or is wiring something that prevents you doing it too soon? No, I think, again, we did mention quickly earlier, in the next few weeks, really, we're hoping to basically in the next few weeks to get the inside finished in terms of boarded out, aren't we? I mean, there's, like I said, there's all trim to go around these windows, and I'm trying to point so you can see there's trim to go around the windows, the bottom of these boards, lots of bits of trim, and then there's things like the kitchen cupboards need fitting and things. But it's kind of getting to that final stage where we can get the electrics up and get the lights in place and getting the ceiling boards in. So hopefully next few weeks you'll see that. Yes, Bram, do you have a buy me a cuppa or drink link? We have Patreon. I'm not sure if that's the same link, but by all means, we have Patreon and PayPal that some very kind people have over the past donated to. We'll maybe pop them in there.
Have a pint on us, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's been really nice.
Yeah.
It's quite warming, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, we don't make the videos to make money or anything, do we? I mean, we get a very small revenue. It is a very small revenue from YouTube for doing it, but yeah, we don't do it for that. We just do it because it's good to share and all that. Because certainly, if we were doing it for the money, we're in the wrong thing. Because I think, like we've touched on before, to like put our vlog out, generally, obviously, we've got to film it and what have you, and then it takes normally 2 evenings to just edit and what have you. And certainly, when you work out the hours and the revenue, we wouldn't even be on minimum wage.
No.
You know, I mean, we don't do it for the money, but the odd
it's nothing, is it?
The odd gestures we have had are very, very kind.
Yeah, they're lovely.
And Squirrely Waves, greetings from the Everglades. The Everglades. Where was it they were filmed in the Everglades?
I don't know where the Everglades are.
Where they used to whiz across on them boats. They have the big fans on the back of them. It was something like Gentle Ben or something, a programme.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody will know. Gentle Ben or something like that, filmed in the Everglades. I might know. Greetings from the Everglades. Where the canals are too small for anything. Oh, where your canals are, that'll be what you're saying, yeah. Your canals are too small for anything but a canoe. But you have them boats that float with big fans on the back, don't you? Or am I completely...
Have you had a bang on it?
Have I lost plot there? There was some programme filmed there, I'm sure there were. Back in 80s. I love the approach you both have to refitting and recycling things to use in your boat. But so far, the boat is looking great. Both done well. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bit, we pick things that we like, don't we? So you know, I mean, where we can use recycled things that fit to it, that's what we use, such as like the kitchen worktops and what have you. They were like obviously the old school desks. Some things we've got to buy new, like the plywood sides. We could have used recycled timbers and things, but I think that would have made the job
3 times worse.
Yeah, it'd have been a lot harder. And to do a whole boat in recycled things, I think would be more difficult to get it to all kind of match, not match as in it'd all have to look exactly the same, but if we'd use some recycled things that then didn't match to others, at least buying some of the stuff new means you can match it. I'm probably not explaining that very well, but you know what I mean. To just completely rely on what we can get as recycled stuff might mean that like there's a bit that you kind of think, well, that doesn't really, doesn't really.
Or you run out, you think, oh, I can't buy anymore.
Yeah. So then you'd end up with like half the side one sort of wood, and then the last bit a different colour or something. So yeah. And Square says, and no locks. Oh, you've got no locks there as well. So yeah. Stefan, an option with the belt drive to the drive shaft is a bad way of hybrid. I can help with the right way. If you want to send us a message, Stefan, or whatever, or I mean, I think our email and stuff's in there, wingingitboat@gmail.com, I think it is. Any help, advice. Like I said, to be honest, that's a project for the future. That would definitely be into next year. It's just something we're toying with the idea of. It'd be a shame to potentially have done all the work to get the diesel. Start again to get the electric system working and then just have to get rid of it. So we kind of thought if we can bring it with us, and that then also would then mean putting the diesel engine in the other boat means it's more saleable. It's just an option. So yeah. But yeah, by all means, if you've got ideas, send them on through. Penny again, did you get the shower base fiberglass? I would like to see it. We've not done that, have we yet?
No, we're doing that, aren't we?
Yeah, that'll be again. There's a lot of these things that I'm saying we're going to do in that 3 weeks I'm off, but we've got. That's one of the things we've not done. We've not finished that. I think partly because we can't actually get the shower working until we've got the gas boiler on, and we can't really get the gas boiler fitted until like the water boiler until we've rebuilt that back end, which that's definitely one of the jobs we're doing in that 3 weeks. So at the minute, it kind of took us focus away from the shower tray and the bits and bobs in the bathroom because we can't really use them anyway at the minute. So there's no point.
No good rushing it.
No, we might as well be doing the other bits that are more relevant, like as we've been doing the sidings and things in it. But we will definitely be doing it in the next few weeks, and we will definitely show that on. Oh yeah. On the video as we kind of finish the bathroom off, and I was going to say as we have a shower, but I don't think we'll be showing as we have a shower. Oh, but as we get the shower working, because really, kind of getting the hot water on is more or less the last piece of the actual fixtures and fittings, if you like. Because at the minute we've got a bed, we've got seats, we've got a log burner, we've got pretty much a working kitchen. The only thing that we've not really got at the minute now is hot water, isn't it? So we've got cold running water. Obviously the toilet works because it's waterless compost toilet. So getting that hot water is kind of just, like I said, there's still a lot to do, but that's kind of the final bit of the meat, if you like, the project, isn't it? So Steve, Irish stew in the name of the Lord. Thought I were the one for the bad jokes. Ben Slater, have you still got the electric boat? Yeah, we were mentioning that earlier. We've still got it. It's still not working, but fingers crossed we are going to get it working and then potentially do something with that. But like I say, I will make a video specifically about that. I say I might as well make it because, to be fair, when we were doing the electric boat, you didn't really have a great deal to do with the videos, did you? You came into the videos when we bought this boat.
No, I didn't want to, did I? I'm really bit camera shy.
So yeah, but we'll definitely do a video about the electric boat, where we are with it, what plans we've got, and all that sort of thing in this next week or two, and get that on YouTube. I heard you talking about selling your house and moving on to the boat. Did you mention a time scale for this to happen? We've not really got a time scale as such, have we? I mean, like I said, we do now spend the majority of our time on the boats. Don't sound posh with boats.
Boats and houses.
Boats and houses. We sound really posh, but yeah, we do spend the majority of our time now on the boats. The thing we have sort of got to still finally decide for the house is if we're just going to sell it or if we're going to rent it out. There's obviously pros and cons to either. But like we say, really, over this, again, tomorrow while I'm at work, you're going to start going and emptying a lot of the stuff out of it, aren't you? So yeah, we've no real time scale as such, but equally it's kind of sat there at the minute, more or less doing nothing. So we need to pull his finger out. And definitely. I think equally as well, obviously, as miserable as it sounds, the nights are starting to draw in. That's
time to start doing stuff like that.
We're heading rapidly towards winter and dark nights and things. So that is the time we can say, well, we're not going to be, if you like, as bothered about sort of sitting outside here and things of an evening. So we might as well go over and do some stuff over there. So, did you fix the curtain rail? Probably can't really see him there, but no, not really. That
was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Proper did my head in. We did obviously have to take them down and put them back up since the video, but we've still not fully cured it. We have had various ideas about warming them up in hot water and things, and then laying them out flat. Seemingly that does help. So, but we are going to have to take them down at least once more because, like we said, we've got to paint these. So when we do that, we will have a proper look at getting them to sit right because they just weren't right. Only Fools and Horses as an episode in the Everglades with a fan boat. I'll have to find that out because I thought I'd watched every episode of Only Fools and Horses at least 10 times and I don't ring a bell, but yeah, I'll have a look at that. Everglades is Miami, I think. Right. There were a program, I'm sure. I'm going to have to Google it later. I'm sure it was Gentle Ben or something. It was like, what's that dog that used to like run up and it'd look at its owner and it'd go, oh, what? There's a bloke stuck down a well.
Lassie?
Yeah, Lassie. I'm sure it were like a bear or something that were called Gentle Ben that used to do.
You have watched way too much TV.
Well, Deck Diaries. Only just seen this come up on my suggestions. Hi, hello, Mark and Deborah.
Deborah.
I hope you're having a right nice pint, Mark. And have you bought your new boat yet? Have you found one?
Oh,
with the right engine. I still think you should have one built. A new boat built with that old style engine that you want. Be a good little project to watch on YouTube. And you're pretty good at making videos, aren't you? They're not bad, are they? Well Deck Diaries. Anybody who's not seen them, go and check it out. It's on there. Well Deck Diaries. They get the lucky job of travelling the country as continuous cruisers.
Yeah.
And do make some fantastic videos while they're doing it.
They're a lovely, lovely couple.
Yeah. We do watch them and a few others. So. Ben Slater, how long have you both been into boating and do you wish you'd done it sooner like myself? 2 months in. Funnily enough, literally 10 minutes before we come live, we were talking to Patrick, who's on our moorings, and he's had about a year. We've had ours 2 years. We bought just over 2 years ago. We bought the first one, and we were all kind of saying we wish we'd done it years ago.
Oh yeah.
It's something kind of in the past that I've kind of briefly looked at and never really looked at properly. But it is, I mean, obviously can't really have regrets, but it is probably the one thing that I kind of wish I had done.
I'd never been on water, had I?
No,
so we actually bought it.
You thought I'd just had a serious bang on that day. I said we should go and buy a boat, didn't I? But yeah, so 2 years basically, just over 2 years since we bought the other boat, just over a year now since we bought this boat, and previous to that, I mean, I'd done as a kid lots of sailing and canoeing and things, but not.
I did puddle jumping. Is that? Does that? No.
No. Steve Roper. Yep, was Gentle Ben, Dennis Weaver and co. See, I'm going to make you watch Gentle Ben now.
You'll be able to go to bed now, won't you?
Yeah, I'll go to bed after. We'll.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll have to have a look at that. We'll put a link to it maybe on one of the videos. If you rent your house out, it would be a bit of revenue and would help you want to take the time away from the canals. Yeah, I mean, we kind of obviously, it's pros and cons. Obviously, we rent it out. I mean, to be honest, we're still paying the mortgage on it and things, so we won't be making loads of money to go in the pot or anything, would we? You know,
No.
We'd kind of still be working. But obviously, I suppose there's a bit of security there if things did change on the water and we wanted to move. But likewise, while you're renting it out, you've got the hassle of renting it out, haven't you? So, oh, Dawn's finished her brew. No, she's taking mine off me because I'm chucking it about on. Oh,
no, you're not drinking it.
Don't forget the capital gains tax becomes an issue when you sell your house if you rented it out for a period of time. Yeah, I mean, from renting the house or selling it and things, it's something that we've got to look at and decide exactly what to do. But we'll see about that, because really it's just, like I say, it's sat there doing nothing at the minute apart from growing weeds in the garden, which I'm sure's delighting the neighbours. Yeah. If you're watching, Simon, I'm sorry.
And most expensive washing machine in the world.
Yeah, because again, we go home to do washing, don't we? That's about it. We could have bought a laundrette for the money that it's costing us. But
yeah.
Julie Harris, could you please give us a shout out to Jason, Julie and Craig? We love your blogs. No, we couldn't. No, we can't do that, can we?
God, you can't.
Hello, Jason, Julie and Craig.
Hi.
Glad you're enjoying them. Katie Salt. Hello from sunny Barnsley. Barnsley chop. Barnsley chop's half a pig, innit? There's some restaurants, so places you used to have to go in Barnsley. And if you could eat the Barnsley chop, you got it for free. It was basically half a pig, I think. Literally just half a pig. Eat it, get it for free. Just wondered if you managed to get to Crick. No, we didn't go to Crick. We fully intended going last year, which was obviously completely cancelled in advance, so we didn't go. And then, to be honest, this year we were a bit unsure right up until the lead up to it whether it would actually take place or not, because obviously everything's been changing at last minute and things with all the COVID regulations. So we'd not really geared up to go in case it did get cancelled or anything. And I must say, I think we'll definitely go next year, though, won't we? We've never been to Crick before, anyway. And I must say, I've seen kind of fairly mixed reviews of it this year. It seems, I think, because it was a bit scaled back to normal. I mean, a few people were saying normally they kind of spend a full day there, or even like the weekend, and they were kind of walking around it in a couple of hours if they weren't actually wanting to go and look at the individual boats. So I think, I mean, obviously, I don't know, quite a few people watching might have been, but I'm not sure as we missed a great deal as such this year.
No.
But I think we'll definitely go next year, because fingers crossed, everything will be back to normal by then. So the Only Fools and Horses would call Miami twice. That does ring a bell, actually. I think did Rodney end up, or Del Boy ended up on a jet ski going out into the middle of the sea? I'm sure they rigged it. It got mistaken for a drug dealer or something. I've had another bang on it.
Wow. Oh, wow.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember Del Boy going on a jet ski like 25 years ago.
Amazing. Love it. And
Colin Ed, yes, Gentle Ben has a fan boat. Yeah, see? It's Gentle Ben. I'm going to make you watch Gentle Ben later. I bet the minute I put it on, you'll go, oh, yeah, I remember that. No, you were probably outside doing puddle jumping when Gentle Ben were on when you were a kid. Annoying your mum coming in covered in filth and muck and grime.
There you go.
Kate Salt says, we did, obviously referring to Crick, but must have walked around with our eyes closed. We missed seeing the narrowboat that James built and the Foxes. Wondered if we missed you. Now, as I said, we weren't there. I know the Foxes were there. I've seen loads of pictures of them there, and I don't know if Narrowboat that James built still watching. He was at the beginning, and obviously we saw his video where he'd been to Crick as well. I think there were quite a few of the people that do Narrowboat vlogs had been, but no, as I said, we didn't make it this year, but definitely next year. So you buy about every 2 years. We buy about every year. So far, we bought one, and then we're almost exactly a year from buying the first one when we bought this one.
Yeah.
And we are now almost exactly a year down the line.
And you showed me one yesterday.
Yeah. I'm always showing boats. I want a trip boat.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
I want a little trip boat that we can take people out on. I think that'd be brilliant.
And I can make cake.
Yeah. Dawn's cakey buns and bacon sandwiches and lots of cups of Yorkshire tea.
Yeah.
Out on a little trip boat just up and down this area. I think it'd be fantastic. I did see one for sale, but the computer said, well, no, the bank manager said no. He said, stop it, you've got enough boats already. Yes. But no, it would be good. It'd be great to work on the water as well. I'm doing something like a trip boat. I don't think would even be like work as such. I know it would be work, but you know what I mean? It'd be an enjoyable work. Kind of get up in the morning wanting to go to work rather than getting up in the morning having to go to work. Sue says the Barnsley chop is lamb. Lamb. It's not pig. It's lamb. Half a lamb. Even better, because I love lamb.
I know it's your favourite, isn't it?
I love lamb. So, does anywhere still do that, by the way? Do you know, Sue, where they do them, where it's like if you eat it all, you get it for free? I remember as a nipper, some friends of our family were from Barnsley, and I remember them often talking about this elusive Barnsley chop that if you ate, you got it for free.
Can I just watch?
Well, yeah, because you'd have about 3 mouthfuls of it. Oh, it's right, filling that. I'd have it running down my chin and dripping down my shirt.
And you wear some of it on your way
out. Afternoon, you guys. Oh, the beery boater. The beery boater. I've got a beer that I'm going to review on an upcoming video that Paul on the next boat to us brought us last night before, a couple of nights ago. I've got a beer to try on that I've never heard of or seen before, so might be interested to see that. Something a little bit different. 2 things missing: bacon and a glass of ale. Yeah, I've only got a glass of coffee at the minute. If I were drinking too many beer, I might say all the wrong things. Might get rude and abusive. Or I might just fall asleep. Something like that.
So rude and abusive.
But yeah, have you tried any good ones lately, beery boater? And hopefully your boat's coming on as well, because obviously you've been doing yours, and I know you've been having kind of the same issues as we've been having, where prices of stuff's just skyrocketed. Because people who obviously aren't aware, the beery boater who's commented there, he's bought a sail away, so basically a brand new shell, and he's now fitting it all out, as well as maybe drinking an odd beer on the way. But I know from an odd video he's, but equally, some of it he's been doing in the same kind of way as us, because he's lined his hatch doors with some like old tabletops, which perhaps sounds a bit naff, but obviously in a good way.
They look lovely.
Yeah, upcycled and all that lot, not just like stuck a couple of tabletops.
Not thrown a couple of tabletops at it.
Still got the mats from the drinks and things.
Done it really well.
But yeah, so hopefully your boat's coming along all right. Make nuts and bolts into a trip boat. Yeah, that will be a good idea, but I'm not sure how far we get on each charge. And
I'm not pulling.
It probably won't be a very good trip if we get like half a mile down the canal and say, right, everybody off, here's a rope. Although it could be quite unique. Be a bit like the old horse-drawn boats, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, trip boat sounds good. I once went one on Victoria Keys. Yeah, there is quite a large one on Victoria Keys. I must say the one that I did actually see for sale only held about 12 people. So it was kind of a little compact, not only like a normal narrowboat size. The one at Victoria Keys is quite a big sort of wide beam. I'm guessing holds 50, 60, 70 people. But yeah, I know that one. And they do full-on meals and things on that one. Victoria Keys, by the way, is the moorings up in Sheffield, where the canal ends in Sheffield, for those that don't know it. And Santa came to visit. She says, yeah, funnily enough, we know somebody who plays Santa, don't we?
Yeah.
That's his winter job.
It's his December job, isn't it?
And funnily enough, he's got a boat as well. He bought a boat when he saw our boat, came and visited us, and then went and bought a boat. But Barnsley Chop is named after the town in Barnsley, which is located in Yorkshire. Yeah, it's Barnsley is kind of probably about the next main town above where we are, isn't it? You kind of got Doncaster, Barnsley that way. So, yeah. No more plans for any trips down the cut anytime soon. No, we went out for a couple of days last week, didn't we? We took your sister and the brother-in-law David and their lad Carson, who might well be watching. Hello, if you are. We took them for a trip out. Just went to proper.
Yeah.
It's proper for the night. Perhaps in this 3 weeks I keep mentioning that I've got off, we might have a little run out, but with no actual sort of trip at the minute, have we, as such? Nothing planned. We do really want to, although we've kind of all year, we've kind of been balancing up going out on the boat and doing work on the boat, because part of it was we didn't want to just spend all summer just working on it, did we? You're not even listening to me, are you reading that?
No, I am reading that.
We didn't want to just spend all summer just working on it, so we have deliberately gone out on it, which would have meant, obviously, if we'd not gone out on it, we could have had it finished sooner, but we've kind of done that juggling act, haven't we? Yeah. And likewise with other things, we've not just every minute come and worked on the boat, have we?
No.
We've done other stuff.
There's got to be a middle ground, haven't there?
Yeah. So we've no actual plans for it, for a particular trip out. But if we come up Sheffield way, we might pass you. Because I think you work on the side of the canal, don't you, Steve? Obviously, you know why it's called Barnsley, but it's lamb. Yeah, Susan. Oh, and I can't answer that. I'm guessing Sue means she can't answer whether there's anywhere that still does the eat it all and get it for free.
Oh.
The only person she knows from Barnsley is Dickie Bird. Dickie Bird. I think he sadly passed away, hasn't he? But he was the cricket umpire, weren't he? Quite famous cricket umpire.
Yeah.
Well, probably Barnsley's most famous export, other than the Barnsley chop, which to me the Barnsley chop would be better. Rebounder, yeah, wood price are ridiculous. Doing a lot of upcycling. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we say, I know you kind of did your side hatch doors and things like that with the recycled stuff. Same as we are. I mean, obviously we, and potentially you had as well, always planned to use a lot of recycled stuff, but certainly with the price of wood, it is definitely encouraging kind of the upcycling. And the offcuts of timber now aren't getting chucked on the log burner, they're getting stored, because it's kind of like that little bit of timber is actually worth probably like about 20 quid.
Yeah.
Just watch your leg, because you're knocking the table and you'll be making us go all wobbly.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. No problems to make nuts and bolts in nuts and hybrid, yeah.
Hi, Laura. It's Pete's daughter, Santa.
All right.
Pete Bella.
All right. Cool. Yeah. I didn't realise we knew you. And you're obviously not looking close enough to recognise the name. Rebounder was drinking Ossett Ale's White Rat at the recently opened micropub by the Red Hill Lock. Micropub by a lock. There is a micropub by a lock.
Sounds like a dream come true.
Lovely, friendly log cabin type bar at the Saw Trent Junction on Red Hill Marina. That's a shame, because I happen to know that this weekend they've been doing an open day for selling off all their abandoned boats at Red Hill Marina, which I wouldn't mind going to, but then I would have probably bought several abandoned boats. So we could have also called in and had some beer at the highly
recommended. You probably would have had a beer and then bought several boats.
All the boats that they're auctioning off. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that if we manage to make it that far down. The flat bottom boats with the fan is called an airboat for obvious reasons. Yeah. They can go super fast, powered by an automotive engine, and skim the water surface. Yeah, I think that's because, like you say, obviously the water over there is not very deep and things, is it? But yeah, I remember them. Gentle Ben. Big fans on the back.
Oh,
it's kind of like our equivalent of a hovercraft, I'm guessing. Stephen Mays, hello, Don and Peter. I want a VIP trip on your boat, please.
I've known Stephen all my life.
Have you?
Hi. You can have a go.
No, come on.
You can. Bring a beer.
Beer? You can have as many goes as you want if you bring in beer. Yeah, Steve Roper, work at the side of the canal. Yeah, I remember you commenting on the original videos when we were doing nuts and bolts that when we made it past there, I think you put the kettle on as we came past, but live at the side of it down by Waddington Boatyard, down Swinton area. The boatyard bit there. Yeah. Cool. So we see you either way we go. If we go up to Sheffield, we'll pass where you work, and if we go out onto the network, we pass where you live. Oh, she says, no, he was at Headingley this week, so I'm guessing Dickie Bird's not passed away. Then I must have been, I know who he is, but I must have been thinking of somebody else who's passed away. Oh dear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill him.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah. Do you buy your materials mostly from reclaimed centres? No, to be honest, a lot of the reclaimed stuff we use, we get through things like Facebook Marketplace if we actually buy it. Or, funnily enough, my dad loves to bring what most people will call junk, which is largely junk. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Don't write us out, you will.
You can't say that. But now, we a lot of the recycled stuff we do actually either just get given, we find, or it comes off things like Facebook Marketplace. We do occasionally. There's a couple of antiques. I mean, there's quite a large. They call it the Antiques Quarter in Sheffield. In the way we go to like the antique shops and things, and we buy bits and knickknacks and things from there. But we tend to find the actual woods and things that we're reusing. We just kind of either find or what have you. So yeah, we don't tend to buy them from specific reclamation yards or anything. Largely because a lot of the reclaimed stuff is, funnily enough, is more expensive than buying the new stuff. Just one of the odd things about it. So you're saying you can dry laundry fast with one of the airboats? Yeah, with that big fan on the back. I'm telling you, there's a big fan on.
God give me strength.
Reenie Mas, good morning. Slept late. Sorry, I missed most of it from Michigan. We have a few people who tune in from Michigan who tune in regularly. Obviously, there's quite a few in general who watch from sort of abroad. We call it like America and Canada and places, because there aren't really the canals over there, and they find us quaint English people.
Yeah, they live in awe, don't they?
Anyway, yes, good morning to you too. Marky and this truly, I'm trying to work out what that. This is truly odd. That's your name, Marky, and this is truly odd. That sounds like heaven, a boat sale. Yeah, it is. To be honest, that boat sale they've got, I think they're selling 80 different boats. And they range from things that are like fire damage boats that I think have just been pulled out of the water and like left there to sell on, to boats that people have had there, I think, that they've not paid moorings and things for. Basically everything that they're selling is a project of some kind.
Yeah.
I think there's even some old CRT work pontoon type things, just like the open long boats and stuff. But yeah, I think the problem was, like Dawn said, if I'd actually gone and looked at any, we would now be like kicking everybody else off all these moorings, because I'd be like,
called Peter Tenboat.
I've just bought another one, Dawn. Oh, Dawn, I've just bought another one. So, but yeah, I mean, they certainly, I think if we were seriously looking for a project at the minute, I think it would have been an interesting place to go and look at, just for all the different I think
things. It's quite good to look round, but just with one eye.
And I think it'd be the fun part of, because I don't think you could actually go on to the boats. You could, to view them, you could look round them, but only from the outside. So obviously, you're basically taking a bit of a punt anyway. As to, I mean, I'm guessing pretty much all of them you would be planning on refitting anyway, but you might buy it to find it's literally full of 10 old boats that have all been painted into it or whatever. So it'd be quite an interesting little, for a good YouTube series, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
The boat we bought at auction. Or we could have just said, right, the first boat that sells for, say, less than $5,000 we'll buy
it.
So we'll just bid up to $5,000 on them all, like as each one comes up, and whichever one ends up at less than, say, $5,000, we buy it and then do something with it.
It's like Russian roulette with boats, isn't it?
That sounds a fun concept. No, my luck, it'd end up being a canoe. First one to sell for less than $5,000. Hi from Little. Is that Little Native? Little Native?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Whereabouts is that in the world? Or is it just a play on the Crousher? I'm a bit confused there. Little Native. Oh, you're just meaning, I think it's just, that's the name. I'm thinking it's a place. As in like hi from like Michigan or hi. So,
yeah, crocheting.
Yeah, crocheting. You occasionally do some crocheting, don't you?
Yeah, I can crochet.
When was the last time you did crochet?
Being busy.
Ben Slater, how's the outside coming on? When you finished, you was both doing the windows. Yeah, I mean, the outside for this year is basically as done as it's getting done, isn't it? It's watertight with fiberglassed it. We've had all the windows out and replaced them, like put them back in with new sealant around them. So we have got that back bit to build, which if you've not been sort of following too close, the very back section of the boat, just literally the last 2 foot where we actually come in through the steps, we're going to rebuild that. But that's coming up in the next, that is definitely one of the jobs we want to do in this 3 weeks I've got off, because obviously then really we are talking the weather's going to change. And for that does mean that the boat's going to have to be open.
We need a back end at boat, don't we?
We need a back end. Matron. So yeah, I mean, by and large, for this year, the outside of the boat is done. But next year we are going to get it back out the water again. We're going to redo all the hull. We're going to have it shot blasted. Yeah. 2-pack it. Just weld up them few pits. There were no, obviously when we had it out before, there were no major issues. No. Just a little bit of TLC. But yeah, we're going to get it out. One thing we are going to look at, and perhaps anybody who's got any ideas, is not that there was anything wrong with where we took the boat out last time, but we're thinking for this time we might try and get it out somewhere where we can have it lifted out and put on the side, because we want to do a reasonable kind of makeover to it, don't we? And we think, obviously, we were only in the dry dock for 1 week there, and it works out pretty expensive. Yeah. If we were to say, well, we want to be in the dry dock 3 or 4 weeks, we'd be talking kind of a couple of grand. So we're potentially looking at somewhere that can actually lift us out, put us on the side, and leave us there for, like we said, maybe 3 or 4 weeks while we have it all sandblasted, reprimed, 2-packed, black, the bits of welding on. So if anybody's got any ideas, obviously the closer to where we are the better, but like we said, we wouldn't mind going out for maybe a month or 2 next year. So if it's kind of something we can do. So anybody who knows of any boatyards where they do the lift rather than just going into a dry dock. The thing is as well, we're a V bottom, so some places pull you out on trailers and we can't be pulled out on a trailer, or at least the places we've asked, they won't pull us out on a trailer because obviously we're a V bottom and they don't like the idea of having to
pack it.
Yeah, apparently when this came out the boat with the previous owner, they did pull it out on a trailer, and as they pulled it out, they basically just put wedges in. But seemingly, maybe health and safety and all that lot it's not done anymore. So yeah. But yeah, so the outside is more or less done for this year. Next year we will look in more detail. We're literally going to sand the whole top, clean up those areas that need work, repaint it all.
Outside's going to be done properly.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, like we've said all along, with no actual time scale for doing any of the boat, it'll get done when it gets done. But that's why we've just concentrated really on the inside this year, and the outside bit, we threw that bit of paint at it, didn't we? And we've just done the essential bits to the repairs of the fiberglass. We've not even particularly made them look pretty. We've just fiberglassed them, and I mean, the little bits on the edge there and on the corner, I did kind of give a quick sand over so it looks at least sort of half reasonable. But we've not gone to town sort of filling them or anything. We've literally just done the repair. Next year, we'll make all that look good. And then, like we say, as we mentioned earlier on, Dawn's then going to paint all the proper name and things like that on it, and do some nice artwork. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Because nuts and bolts mainly, we had some stickers made for it, didn't we? But I think for this one, you're gonna go to town.
Or I'm gonna get stickers. I'm not sure which one yet.
She should paint it, shouldn't she? Because she is very talented, very artistic, not like me. Stefan, what's the cheapest floating project boat you've seen? Funnily enough, there's one that was advertised yesterday. Not too far from here, that although it does need work, it does currently float, and they're wanting $2.5 grand for it. It needs a complete refit, and the top half of the boat is wood, like ours is fiberglass, and most are steel. The top half of that one is wood, but it is a boat that floats your boat even. a floating boat. A boat
But it's not a boat if it don't float.
No, then it's called a submarine.
Yeah.
Or a paperweight. But yeah, that one was advertised at £2,500, which, to be honest, does sound really cheap. And if Dawn had let me, I'd have probably gone and bought it. Can't have use for it, but it might have been a trip boat we could have converted it into. But no, I mean, so you do get them as cheap as that. But the thing you do have to obviously bear in mind is, in effect, really, the cheaper the boat is in the first place, really, the more work and more time and more money it's going to cost to do it. So if you buy like a project boat that's maybe £15,000, it probably means that it's sound and it just needs maybe the interior doing. Buy one that's £2,500 and you're literally buying
bottom bit.
Yeah, a hull and an engine, which, like I say, it does actually seem a reasonable price because probably the engine alone is worth that. But yeah, so the cheapest I've seen is £2,500 for one that would float and would work. Sue says we saw a lovely trip water taxi from Odlam the other week. Money going to the RNLI. Yeah, I mean there are a few of them about. I must say, it is something I did kind of roughly look into because, again, a long story short, it did look like I was going to be out of work, didn't it?
Yeah.
That seems to have changed now, but again, that's another story. And we did sort of half seriously look into kind of the idea of this trip boat because we'd seen one for sale. There are also lots of hoops you have to jump through with CRT. You have to be on the right kind of moorings. You have to prove that you've got commercial waste and things like that. And even then, you can tick, if you like, all the boxes they ask for, and they still might say, no, you're not allowed to do it. It's not like kind of just saying, right, I've bought the boat, I've insured it, I'm going to run trips from here to here or pick up here and there. You have to send it all to CRT, which is the Canals and River Trust. They have to approve all the plans. And like I said, part of it is you've got to be on the right kind of moorings, you've got to be in the right places, and it is seemingly quite a...
Yeah, and if they say no, then...
Well, that's it. I mean, if they say no, you can't do it, then you can't, you can't do it. They are the law.
The law.
The law. So yeah, I mean, it would be a good idea, and obviously, especially something like that. Obviously, it sounds like the one that you saw there was kind of a charity boat, which I must say a lot of the trip boats that do operate are in some way connected to charities, either with money raised going to the charities, or there's a few around here where they're for kind of groups of people who've got sort of either special needs or disabilities things, and so the trip boats are designed for them to be able to get access to the water that they wouldn't generally be able to do.
Go out on day trips.
Because the boats are specifically made and designed for either people with various disabilities or things. So it does seem a lot of the trip boats are in some ways either a charity or connected to charities or that kind of thing. So somebody said there that Red Hill Marina can lift out. So Red Hill Marina sell cheap boats. They can lift our boat out. And the Beery Boater says that there's a fantastic little microbrewery near there. Where do you think we're now heading to next summer, dear?
Red Hill Marina.
And funnily enough, Paul, who I work with, who again might be watching, hello Paul, he was saying he went to Red Hill Marina a few weeks back because he fishes a lot, and he says apparently the fishing around that area is really good. Obviously we don't fish, but
I would say you don't fish.
I wouldn't know which end of sticky bit to stick in water to.
Me neither.
No, but so Red Hill Marina is sounding like the place to be.
It is.
Go on, untie, let's go. How long to get from Rotherham to Red Hill Marina?
You've got work in morning.
No. There's always a downside.
Yep.
Travis Aviation. Hello from sunny Florida. What material are you planning to make the ceiling out of? We did mention that briefly earlier. Plywood, basically. It's the same sort of plywood as we're using here. But we are going to kind of do it as panels and make it a bit of a feature, rather than it just being great big sheets of plywood.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically plywood. We'll see from there what we do colour wise and things. Stefan, go visit the Narrowboat James build day crane out. Yeah, they do. Well, as obviously people who are watching the Narrowboat that James built, the crane's quite expensive, so they do tend to try and get them where they get a few boats at a time to be wanting to be craned in and out, because obviously then they share the cost of the craneage. But yeah, I know where. I think that's North Kilworth Marina where they do it. And there's a pretty good welder there, as I'm sure James will testify, because unfortunately, obviously, James did have to have a fair bit of welding done on there.
Oh, bless him.
On his boat. We had to have the new bottom on there. We must say as well, just mentioning the narrowboat that James built, when James first put his boat in the water, his boat was more or less next to a guy called Lee, who then, ironically enough, then came up here, and he came up here, and he's now about 3 or 4 boats down. And Lee bought a perfectly good, very usable boat, and he was moored next to the narrowboat that James built, and now he's moored more or less next to us. And he's suddenly decided to rip his entire boat out. He came up here a couple of months ago with a perfectly usable boat. And he might even be watching this again, hello Lee if you are, but he's now sat about 4 boats down with a completely empty boat. So the moral of that story is, if you buy a boat,
don't go near people.
Don't moor near either the narrowboat that James built or us, because you'll end up stripping your boat out.
You get some sort of bug.
So yeah, and Lee did the thing that you should never do if you buy a boat. He started looking behind panels. Oh, I wonder what it's like behind there. And then thought, oh, I don't like the look of that. I'll just take this panel off. Oh, I don't like the look behind there. That might need that next panel off. And before he knew it, it was down to his shell.
Oh, bless him.
So that might be the next series on YouTube. Will be the narrowboat that James has now that Lee's now got to put back together.
It's all good fun.
Oh, yeah. Mark Adrian says Red Hill are very boater friendly. Red Hill is sounding the place to be. Beer, boats,
friendly.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Bye, guys.
We're off to Red Hill. In fact, stay live. You can come with us. Rennie again, you're right, living the dream through the British waterways. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've only seen a very small glimpse of the actual life on the waterways, haven't we? I mean, unfortunately, because of obviously when we first bought the other boat and doing all the work to try and do the electric drive, we more or less the first 12 months basically have been on the water. We were going to say stuck in the marina, which sounds a bit harsh really, doesn't it? But we weren't really able to get out onto the waterways themselves, were we? And then equally this last year, we have managed to get out and about, but we've still not been that far. I mean, we've sort of driving in a car, the furthest we've been is about half an hour from where we are now. Took like 11 and a half hours on the boat, but driving in a car. So we've not actually managed to see a great deal of the waterways.
COVID hasn't helped, have it?
No, I mean, COVID's kind of stuck its oar in and, stopped a lot of travel and things and delayed things. But yeah, so we've not really had a chance to kind of explore a lot of life on the waterways. And equally, we've only ever managed to get, I think the longest we stayed out, is it about 4 nights?
Yeah. So
we've stayed out 4 nights. Like I say, I think next year we'd really like to do a longer trip. That obviously, for one, it's going to get us to see more and more of the waterways, and it'll give us more of a life actually on the waterways.
And you can stay in places longer, can't you? And appreciate them rather than having to just move straight on.
The downside, if you like, to where we are at the minute in like sort of this part of the canal is you go kind of a couple of miles that way up to Sheffield and it's a dead end. You can't go any further. Yeah. The canal ends in Sheffield. And then to go the other way, which is what we generally do, you've got kind of a day and a half cruising. So you even get to a point where you can sort of either go left or right up to that point. So most of the time we've gone out, I wouldn't say you're just going on the same waterway, which again sounds a bit harsh if you like, but it's not like, shall we go to Skegness this weekend, or shall we go to Cleethorpes this weekend, or shall we go to Blackpool?
You've got to head to that area first, haven't you? Where
we've been out so far, we've only kind of been doing the same stretch of water over and again, and we've stayed in different places around that area on that trip. But it will be good to be able to get out and, if you get to them bits where you can, shall we go left? Shall we go right?
Yeah, gives you that option, doesn't it?
Shall we go on YouTube and ask them whether we should go left or right?
That'd be good,
it's kind of it'll be nice to see more of the actual waterways themselves and get out there. I mean, like, again, obviously watching other videos and talking to people, there's some areas sort of like Birmingham way and things like that where it's like the hub, and pretty much wherever you go, you can always say, right, well, today we'll go that way, or this week we'll go that way, or whatever. The downside to where we are is we're kind of on a a very long
You've
straight.
got to head in one direction for at least a day and a half.
Turn off. So it will be, from our point of view, it will be good to get out, like I said, for that couple of months where we can. Right, let's go and see different things and what have you. Travis Aviation again. Nice, thanks for the reply. No problem. Stefan, it sounds more like the best way to go as about like that as a good hull. Yeah, talking about the project boats and things. Yeah, I mean, again, funnily enough, just before we came live and we were talking to that chap further down the marina, that's what he was saying. He's potentially looking at buying a bigger boat. He's only got a little 18-foot cruiser, I think it is at the moment, but he's looking at buying a bigger boat. And he was saying, in essence, the only thing he's looking for, or the main thing he's looking for, is a boat with a good hull, isn't it? Yeah. You know, he said, as long as it's got a good hull,
everything like else is a bonus.
You know, you can do anything from there. Even if it's got a broken engine or whatever, you can always mend an engine. The big thing is, if you've got a rusty wreck of a hull, you're up against it from the start, aren't you? You know, if like we say, if it's not floating, it's not a boat, is it?
No, definitely not.
So yeah, that will perhaps be our top tip if you're buying a particularly cheap boat. I mean, you should always get them surveyed. And to be honest, we've had neither of our boats surveyed before we bought them, have we?
No.
But yeah, you should always get them surveyed, really. But ultimately, really, so long as it's got a good hull, from there you can do anything from there, can't you, Sam?
Yeah.
Ben Slater, the experience you have refitting your boat, you can get your friends done in no time. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be did go and help Lee the other day. We're having problems with his batteries and what have you. We kind of lent a hand, but we've still got loads to do on this one. Yeah. We're not really at the point of having nothing to do, are we?
No.
That'd be the dream, wouldn't it? You know, just to be able to, although we won't, because if we had nothing to do, we'd buy another boat. Or even buy a little van to convert into a camper van.
You have just done.
Oh yeah, I have just done that.
Yes, you heard it here first.
Yes, we bought. It's only a very old. Well, I said very old, about a 15-year-old little Daihatsu. For people of a certain generation, it's what you call a sooty van.
Oh, was that
it's the little van that Sooty used to get driven about in. Just a little van that basically we're going to just put a little rock and roll bed in, so that it's either a seat or a bed, like a sofa bed type thing. And we can just have odd nights away in that, can't we? I mean, it'll never be a full-on camper van. There's nowhere to cook or anything in it, but it's just like a little, you know, if we want to go away somewhere for a night, being the tight Yorkshireman, it means we don't have to pay for a B&B. I didn't tell Dawn that bit when I was buying him.
Don't tell me a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got that to do. I mean, I might put up a little bit of one of the videos on of us doing it, but to be honest, I'll not put a lot on here because it's not really the boating on the budget sort of thing, is it? It's just sticking a rock and roll bed in a van.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We have roughed it before, haven't we? Yeah. We wing it, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we bought the first boat and this one, obviously we've slept in both of them at times with nothing in them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So sleeping in a van with nothing in it's no great hardship.
No.
Renee says, are you going to live full time? Yeah, that's the plan in the end is full time. Yeah. Like we said, we're kind of more or less living in it full time now. It's just sort of finalised to dot and T's to cross and things. Stefan says, and not a whole lot, James. Yeah, unfortunately, James was really quite unlucky there because he did buy the boat and have the hull surveyed, but unfortunately, because of where it was, the surveyor wasn't able to survey properly the base of his boat, and obviously that's where it's ended up having trouble. So it's a bit tricky, that one, because yeah, James obviously did buy the boat sort of as a cheap project boat, but did have it surveyed, and they kind of gave it more or less the all clear.
Yeah, most unfortunate situation.
Yeah, but then the area that they'd not been able to get to survey properly was the area that was obviously the cause for concern. So, and obviously, touch wood, now he's had it all obviously welded up and everything, and
yeah, it's sorted.
I mean, it should mean that's good for another 40 years. I mean, nuts and bolts, we didn't have it done, but when we bought nuts and bolts, that previously has been overplated on the base, like what James has had to have done to his, because nuts and bolts is more or less the same boat as James's, but nuts and bolts is 36 foot, and I think James's is 45 foot. But they are basically the same boat, but like I say, ours had already been done before. But yeah, it is a bit of an unfortunate one with James, because it does highlight that although they do say yes, you should get a survey, James did get a survey and it didn't show up the issues, which is, you do come across that from time to time, that they either miss the bit that's the problem or whatever, because they don't literally scan and survey every little bit of the boat. It's just selected points that they obviously have to pick out, and
they just missed it.
Just one of them, like I say. Gordon says Dawn doesn't look totally convinced. I'm not sure what that will be in reference
Convinced
to.
of what?
I'm guessing that might be from the time of when I was saying about the camper van, and I'm not sure.
Oh,
but Dawn's never really convinced of many of my ideas. There's many an idea that I've had that Dawn's kind of like, buy a boat, buy another boat, buy a van.
It all comes good in end, doesn't it?
So far,
the camper
van, yeah. I mean, like we said, in all fairness, just touching back on the camper van, it's not really a camper van as such, is it? It's a van that we're going to use as, because it's only a little van, as if you like our everyday car. And the idea of putting the rock and roll bed in is that you can use it as a seat, and it has all the seat belts and everything, so you can use it as a proper seat. But then if there is just an odd night where we kind of want to go somewhere, we can jump in the camper van.
Of course, yeah.
And go off in it.
No, I don't mind that.
It genuinely wouldn't be the case of saying, right, well, we're going
come and look at my camper van.
Or like, go on, we're going away for like our 6-week summer holiday. Let's take the camper van kind of thing. It would just be an odd night on there. Yeah, so I think at the minute we're kind of caught up on all the questions. I think, like I say, I think the thing that we kind of done the live for was just to update people as to how we're getting on. And obviously we didn't put a video out last week, and I don't think we'll be putting one out this week. We'll see how we go beginning of the week, because again, I'm at work these first couple of days before I'm off. And we have just been catching up on a lot of the little things.
We've already done, isn't it?
Yeah. So we probably, this coming week, we'll probably not have a video out either, but then hopefully we should have some really good ones coming up. Because like I said, we've got that back end to rebuild, where we're coming through the steps and everything, which that should be quite interesting. We're redoing all the fireplace, because again, if you remember, we put the log burner in as basically after we put the floor down. That was the first thing we put in, because we were just starting the project in, I think that time was about February, weren't it, when we were really cracking on. So we put it in, but we just sat it on a paving slab and things. So want to redo all that, which obviously that'd be nice to make it look nice. And you've got a little bit of your artistic streak coming through with something on there, aren't you? Which obviously we'll not go into too many details, because it'll be nice to see it on there. But yeah, so basically we're just saying we've got a couple of sort of fairly big projects, and kind of getting the ceiling done will make the boat look massively different. And then from there, we've got kind of things like, obviously the kitchen, we put the framework in and we've put the worktops on, but we've got all the front facing to do and the doors for that. Same with the wardrobe kind of thing down in the bedroom, which again was one of the earlier projects. We kind of framed it all out, but we've not done all the facing and doors on, or equally the doors between the two rooms. So we're coming up to some of the nicer parts, if you like. They're not the bits where it's like scraping holes and things. And
no.
We've got some really nice, what should be nice, interesting projects. So that's why I said we've been concentrating this last week or two on getting like sidings up and like making your curtains and things, so we can then sort of crack on and get them done. So yeah. Ben Slater says the favourite meals out and meals you like to do on the boat. I apologise to any vegans now, but largely meat. I like meat, don't I?
And I'm nearly a vegetarian. I like meat. I just don't eat a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm quite partial to a steak, things like that. Stuff that we kind of do on the boat. We do a lot of like slow cooking stuff. That I said we. Obviously, I don't tend to, although I can cook. I'm the definition of can cook, won't cook.
Yeah.
But on the boat, we tend to do a lot of slow cook meals and things, don't we? Because we tend to be out at work or whatever, or working on the boat, so it's easier.
You don't mind chips cooked in lard, do you?
No. Chips cooked in lard. Anybody who's not had chips cooked in lard lately needs to do it. Don't tell your doctor, though. They frown upon these things. Yeah, I had chips cooked in lard and I washed it down with a gallon of beer. Sends your doctor crazy. But yeah.
And I'm at my happiest when I'm baking, aren't I?
Yeah, when we do... you did a load of cheesecakes for your nephew's birthday yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Meals that we do like. I mean, I definitely like my food. So yeah. They're the sort of things that we do. Will a survey person have any risk insurance if you get a surveying of the boat, they're all good, and then it sinks on its first float? They kind of do. It's very technical because I was going to say they always have a get out clause, but more or less a surveyor tells you in their survey what they've surveyed and what the results of that are. So if they've sort of said the hull at, I can't really point to any bits, but if the hull there, and there is these readings, and then it sinks because there's a hole there, then they didn't test that bit. So they've got the get out of, we only told you it was all right there, and there, and not there. So the majority of the time, although I must say 99% of the time, surveys are brilliant and they do exactly what they're supposed to do. If there is at the odd times kind of a, they didn't pick up on that, they normally do have kind of the get out clause, but they do equally have insurance, and I have seen in the past odd people who have had to claim on surveyors' insurances. But most of the time, the things that they don't pick up on is because they couldn't pick up on them, and they'll have made that clear in the report. I mean, I think like James, just touching back on James's thing there, I think he did say in a video or two after they'd found the holes in the boat, they'd gone back to the surveyor, and the surveyor had more or less said that to him. I didn't sort of particularly test the base plate because I couldn't get to the base plate. So, how am I supposed to? I think if I remember rightly, he managed to test some areas inside, but equally that's not every bit of the floor. So, like I said, surveys are 99% of the time really good, and they do pick up on any issues, but they're not. It's not a complete fail safe, no. Especially when you're buying. I mean, like James's boat's 40 plus years old, like both of our boats. So, it's like buying a 40-odd-year-old car. You can buy it, it can drive perfect for the first day, and then something goes wrong the day after. There's no guarantee. Obviously, buying a newer boat is all well and good, but buying a newer boat is...
Yep, it's a bit spenny.
Pricey. You could do a cooking on your budget with Dawn vlog. Yeah, I mean, you've done a couple of bits where you've cooked on the vlogs, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, you never know. We might include a few more bits on there. I mean, I think the interesting things are, well, I mean, people let us know in the comments and things, or if we do start including any bits on the videos. But at the end of the day, although the cooker you've got is an LPG cooker, and I must say the oven on it is perfectly good.
Yeah.
But an LPG cooker, especially the little ones we've got, are probably never as good as our proper oven at home. But I think the more, if you like, interesting types of cooking on the boat are when you cook on the log burner and things, aren't they?
I do.
It's a bit more interesting, I think, I would say, for people to watch, like when you did the first breakfast on there and things. Yeah. And if we're doing any bits like that, we'd perhaps include them. Like I said, drop it in the comments if people think that's right or not. But, to boil a tin of spaghetti on the stove here is no different to anybody boiling a tin of spaghetti at home, is it?
And when I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning doing a batch of buns, do you really want to see me with my hair right here?
Because that's what happens. I've frequently got up in the morning. I've been fast asleep all night. Get up in the morning and there'll be literally a side full of bacon because you've not been sleeping, have you? And you've just got up and done a massive batch of bacon. But yeah,
it wouldn't be attractive.
I suppose that would be like the ultimate naked chef. Not like Jamie Oliver's naked chef. But no, I mean, I think that might be something that, especially as we do get to winter and we start lighting the log burner more and things, maybe do it. Like I said, I don't think we want to make it a cooking program, do we? I mean, there's Narrowboat Chef, who again, they do some really good cooking things, don't they? Narrowboat Chef. Where the clue's in the title, they do all cooking on there. They are professional chefs and they cook on their Narrowboats. But I think in general, for to say, right, Dawn's going to cook beans on toast, it's just the same as doing it in an house, isn't it? Whereas cooking on the log burner
don't cook these on toast.
No. Dawn used to cook me steak and eggs at like 2:30 in the morning when we closed the pub, but
I liked him.
You can't have said that. That's why now just get dry bread. Come from steak and eggs at 2:30 in the morning to, there you go, there's a slice of dry bread.
I cook you steak and eggs.
Yeah, so we might introduce a little bit of doing odd bits cooking on there, and especially interesting bits like, I mean, you can kind of bake cakes in Dutch ovens and things on the log burner, can't you? So it's kind of looking at it. I mean, it's almost, if you like, going back years, isn't it? You know, how people used to cook on open fire. So we might do a bit of that, but we'll see. We'll see how people react to it, because at the end of the day, kind of watching to build about.
Give me some ideas.
But yeah, if people sort of think it's a good idea, it'd be good if you had smelly vision, so they could smell what you're cooking.
Because my stew smells lovely.
Yeah. Gordon McElroy, did you sort out those bendy curtain rails? We did touch up on that earlier, and we haven't done properly at the minute. But we did say we've got to take the rails down at least once more yet, because we need to paint this. So, excuse me, I'll just have a drink. You could talk. No,
that's got to be cold.
It has. It's like an hour and a half old, this cuppa.
Wow.
Yeah, we have got to take the curtain rails down at least once more when we come to paint these. And through that video, we did get a lot of suggestions of like putting them in hot water and things like that, and laying them out.
Warming them up and things
or
like
even
that.
Putting them out on a sunny day. Sunny day.
Yeah.
It's only middle of summer in. But yeah, so we've got a few tips and ideas to actually do it, but we've not actually done it yet. And we've got that side, we've not put the curtain rails up at all. We need to go and buy some more curtain rail. So when we buy that, I'll probably do a few of these tests that people suggested, like I said, putting them in hot water. Winding it the other way around first.
Leave it for a couple of days.
But we'll probably try a few of them as we do that, and see from there as to how to deal with these.
Yeah.
They proper fried my head, didn't they? Nasman, I've just had a survey done. They said that they tested every meter, but not on the base because they couldn't reach it. Yeah, it's that's again. That's what we were saying. Unfortunately, they can't get everywhere. I mean, in general, boats are now built with a 10 mil thick base plate. The sides are generally 6 mil, and then the top structure is normally 4 mil. The idea of the 10 mil base is not only for the strength of the floor, but also because even over time you tend not to black the bottom, and obviously it gets scraped along the bottom of the canal when it's not deep enough and things. So they tend to make the bases thicker to allow for that wear and what have you. But such as like our boat and like the Narrowboat James built, they were only built with probably 4 or 5 mil, maybe 5 mil thick, because they were all imperial then. So they were only built with the thinner steel in the first place. So the older the boat can tend to mean they were built with the thinner steel. But obviously, I mean, like I said, our boats and Narrowboat James has built are like 40 plus years old. So they're obviously not doing too bad, are they?
No.
At that sort of age. But yeah, so it does tend to be nowadays, they make the base of them with a thicker steel, which hopefully allows for the fact that over time it does tend to be the bit that's more neglected, if you like, because just simply from, like I say, you can't really lift narrowboats high enough. That was part of the issue with doing the welding on James, is they had to build, in effect, a platform to sit the boat on in the first place, so that it was high up enough to get under and weld it. So it is, like I say, it's the unfortunate thing the surveyor can only look at and survey what he can get to. So, Dave O'Neill says hello from Orlando, Florida. Hello, Florida. What's the weather like in Florida at the minute? Not sure.
Don't say it's sunshine.
Sunshine.
Tell us it's raining.
Stefan says bye. It's his dinner time. Bye, Stefan. Thanks for your input. You've obviously put a fair few comments and things on for us today. Thank you. Cooking on the log burner will be interesting, as many boaters have log burners and could include it as part of the boat reno video. Yeah, I mean, so we did include, I think, the very first breakfast you cooked on there. We included that in one of the videos. And like we said, we don't want to really turn it into a cooking channel.
No.
But we do think of anything that might be the more interesting side of the cooking on a narrowboat. I mean, years ago, when, if you like, such as Cruising the Cut, when he started, there were no real videos on. And back then, he was doing a lot of videos of, you know, this is how a boat goes through a lock. And David from Cruising the Cut weren't so much doing the cooking ones, because if you've ever seen him making bread on Cruising the Cut, that is the funniest video on YouTube ever. Search it up, Cruising the Cut, and look for the one that's making bread from, I think it were a couple of years ago he did that. But David himself doesn't really do cooking videos.
He eats cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
That's it.
But there were, if you like, towards the earlier years of people making videos on narrowboats, there were a lot of people doing, oh, look, this is how I cook an egg on a narrowboat. And
how many times do you want to see that?
And it's kind of like, well, it's already on there now. And because, like I say, our cooker is basically just a normal cooker. So if we can cook an egg at home, we can cook an egg here, you know, on the cooker.
Yeah.
But it is obviously slightly different on the log burner, because you can't just turn the gas up and down. And, you know, so we think that might be a slightly interesting thing. But like I say, it definitely won't be a, you know, let's do cooking all the time.
No.
So, but we might introduce a few bits on there. And then we could even give away a slice of your, like, cheesecake.
You could. Or my flapjack.
Yeah, that flapjack.
Or my chocolate brownie.
Oh, your chocolate brownie. I can smell that stew. I don't think we're going to be on here too much longer, because that stew is definitely Nasman says, yes, it's 10 sides to it. It was built in the 80s. There's a few deep pits, 3 mil that are getting filled. So open it and sink. Yeah, obviously that's reverting back to his boat that he's saying about having surveyed. There are so many different parts of the boat, and especially some of the older ones like ours, and again, James, I'm not sure about Nasman's. Some of them have a V bottom rather than the traditional flat bottom, which again makes different issues from surveying and what have you. So yeah, fingers crossed you get that sorted all right, and yeah, get the pits filled in. Like we said, that's something we've got to do on this one next time we get it out.
Yeah,
we've got a few pits. They weren't anything major.
Not to worry about.
They weren't alarming. So so obviously we didn't stress about doing them that time. We just sort of blacked it. But then that's put in his mind. Obviously, we now know next time it comes out, we'll have welder and things ready, won't we? So, hi from Little Knit Eve. We know that that's a name now, not a place. Maybe you can do some classes on your boat. I've said it in one of my blogs before. Some classes on the boat. Do you mean as in cooking, or as in classes for making stuff, or what? Well, yeah, potentially classes if it's people want to see, kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, Dawn, making me hungry now. Yeah. you sold him on the flapjack, and Gordon always says flapjack drools. And Dawn's flapjack is awesome. He's truly awesome. Yeah. So I think trip boat with Dawn's baking, we'd be on to a winner. Winner. I'd also be about 40 stone, because if Dawn were baking every day. More flapjack. Go on, then I'll have a bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
Do you have any pets or plan to have once completion of the boat build? No, unfortunately not. We did have, up until sort of fairly recently, we had 2 dogs, didn't we? And sort of we lost both of those within 6 months of each other. Yeah. The last one only, was it Sky, was only 3 months ago, something like that. Yeah. And obviously, much as we loved them to bits, and obviously a lot of people on boats do have, particularly dogs. Some have cats, some have like the more strange things like snakes and rabbits and things like. In fact, we had somebody moored across from us not so long back. They had a rabbit. One of the first things they did was they knocked the mooring pins in and got like the rabbit run thing out and got the rabbit out. So obviously, lots of people on boats do have pets. And like I said, we used to have a couple of dogs. Love them, but they're a bit tying down. And because obviously, although I only work part-time, but with the days I do work, I'm at work all day, and equally Dawn's at work all day, it would mean the dogs left, or any pets are left on their own all day, which sort of Sky and Darcy, before we lost them, they were older dogs.
I was going to say they didn't mind because they were old.
No,
I mean,
particularly Sky, the Labrador that we lost the most recent. You kind of said to her, "Come on, Sky, time for a walk," and she'd kind of look at you and go,
"Really?
Really? Do I have to get home?" So they were all right with kind of being left because they were older and what have you, and things. But I think to go and get like a puppy or whatever now, and expect it to stay on the boat for, well, by the time we've left for work and then gone to work, done the day's work, come back, it's probably 10 hours. I think that's a bit much to ask, and also.
And the freedom of not worrying about a pet.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, isn't it? I mean, obviously before we were kind of, whoever was finishing work first on a day was kind of like, right, got to get back to the boat, or back home or wherever we were at the time. Whereas now it's kind of, there's not kind of that emphasis. So, no, I mean, obviously, clearly nothing against pets or anything, but
no.
I just think from our personal point of view, where we are in life, obviously,
we're enjoying the pet-free freedom.
We've no, if you like, young kids that tie us either. You know what I mean? Like when you've got young kids, you tend to have to be back home and things. So that's when it's.
And we come more anywhere without having to worry.
Yeah.
Is it dog friendly?
Yeah.
Is there somewhere for her to go? Is somebody going to harass her when they're walking down Canal? It's just so much easier. It really is.
And Dawn does have Pete. I mean, as in like a pet. Yeah, because Dawn does have to. Because I just sit there, I'm hungry.
Yeah, feed me.
Feed me. I'm hungry. Yeah, but yeah, I think then maybe I can smell our stew cooking. Unfortunately, we've kept internet this time because, like we said last time, we got partway through, mentioned that you sell internet for a living, and we lost internet. So unfortunately, we kept internet. So I think we'll pretty much wind it up because we've kind of discussed the main points that we just wanted to put across. Like I said, probably not be any video out this week unless I get a chance to record the video about nuts and bolts, but I don't think I will get a chance. Normally we'll put them out on a Thursday, and like I say, I'm at work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so probably won't be a video out this week, but then hopefully, like I say, over the coming weeks after that, there should be hopefully some quite good ones. Because like I say, we've got a couple of 3 kind of fairly big projects that we want to try and get done before, like I say, unfortunately, before the weather starts to turn, which it will do in the coming week. So we want to try and get them done.
Yeah. So
they should be quite good and interesting projects coming up. There's odd bits, like I say, we might just chuck a little bit about the little van we bought in there. We might even try doing a little bit of your cooking as we get the thing lit. I think the thing is in particular, obviously we get to see how popular videos are as such because we get to see the viewing figures and things.
Yeah, of course.
But equally, if we put something on and people aren't dead keen, then just, we'll not get... Well,
just tell us.
The only thing that does get slightly annoying is if people just give a thumbs down or just put things like... And you do get them, and I know a lot of it's just trolls, but things just like, well, that were rubbish. Well...
Tell us why.
Why were it rubbish? We can't do anything about it if it's rubbish. Likewise, I mean, it's kind of can be the same if people say, oh, that were brilliant. Well, yeah, but do you mean it were brilliant because the content were brilliant, or were it rubbish because the content were rubbish, or were it rubbish because the sound was bad? Or
if you've got something to say, just
by all means, we'll not be offended. We'll maybe try a few bits in the coming weeks, and maybe try a bit of the cooking on the stovetop. And hopefully, people have enjoyed watching the live. Hopefully, they've given it the thumbs up. We have to do the thumbs up now. And hopefully you're already subscribed to the channel. And when you subscribe to the channel, what do?
Press the bell.
Ding the little bell. That gives notifications each time we put a video on, which, like we said, that generally does mean we've done something because, well, as we said, we're not putting a video on last week or possibly this week because we've not actually done anything.
No.
So if we put a video on, generally means we've done something. So just a quick catch up there before we go. We'll be watching the coming vlogs. Thanks for a great live. Thank you for watching. Nice chat to you too, PS. I hope you've put some ale in the stew. I don't think you have in this one, actually, have you? Beery Boater, she's letting me down. She's letting me down.
You have beer in a glass while you eat the stew.
I'll definitely have some beer in a glass while I do it. Now I want to go and get some food, and I want flapjack. Catch you soon.
Yes.
This flapjack's catching on. Thanks for the live chat. Bye for now. Yeah. Glad to see the live vlog and catch up on the videos I've missed. Now I have internet. Yeah, go and watch them. So thank you very much, guys. It's been great for you to all watch. Hopefully we've kind of brought you up to date, and hopefully you'll keep watching the series. And we'll do another live maybe in a few weeks or whatever time as we've got a bit more done, and we'll catch up with everyone then. Cheers then. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, I can't turn it off now.